living senior teacher. He's been in New Zealand for the last couple of years, and we've been so privileged to have so many sessions with him. And this time we thought that Sukhiji, it would be a great way to get into people's homes in their own comfort. Maybe they can ask few questions. So our contact numbers have been spread out. 0508 Art of Living. You can call us this number. You can also SMS or phone on my mobile number, which is 021 and the email address is webcastnz@artofliving.org.nz. So yeah, you can ask question anytime during this conversation. But before we proceed, Sukhiji, welcome for this special webcast. How are you?
I am doing great. Jay Gurdev to all, and thank you for having.
Yeah, Gurudev, I hope our listeners and our viewers can give us a bit of feedback on how things are. New Zealand winter has just finished. We just come into spring. So I guess in life, everybody's looking for a season change, but the change within, they forget that. They look at external change. What are your thoughts on that?
I think absolutely because mind is generally so preoccupied. We are always looking to make our life better, want to be happy, doing so many things outside that we forget that the source of all that happiness and change is sitting within us.
Mm-hmm.
So generally, in Hindi में कहते हैं कि बाहर की चकाचौंध आपको हिला पकड़ के रखती है. Like the glitter of the world keeps you busy.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's very normal and natural that this thing happen. But people who walk on spiritual path, like they get awakened to their inner reality first. So that's what I think this whole conversation and Guruji's message and his knowledge is all about.
You've traveled the world, and I guess this is one question that might pop up, and you might think, are the problems or the questions that people ask, devotees ask, are they the same around the world, from Canada to the African countries to South East Asia or down here in the Pacific?
I guess to a larger extent, the questions about their personal life, the stresses that they go through and everything, there is a lot of similarity on those, because I mean, we are all humans, and wherever we socialize, we come together as societies, communities, nations. There could be some cultural differences, there could be some specific regional issues, and those are true. Truly, we have differences, but then, you understand we have a lot of commonalities. When it's a matter of an individual, how an individual relates to its community, whether the individual is happy with his own mind, whether he's doing good in his life or progressing or successful or failure, all those issues, when they come up, I guess we all 7 billion people have a lot of common ground.
Indeed. And, anytime our webcast viewers from New Zealand, around the world, if they're watching, they can ask any question. A lot of the times, people are hesitant to ask questions. They keep a lot of the stuff quite sensitive. And of course, yes, your relationship or some physical things they may not want to reveal. But I guess when somebody asks, it actually helps getting an answer for another person.
Absolutely. I mean, there's so many things. Sometimes, a lot of other peoples are going through the same thing.
Yeah.
Sometimes it is so important that, just you drop your hesitation and just pop that question out. Because, sometimes, you must have noticed we are stuck with certain personal reality or personal situation in life, and we keep brooding over it in the mind.
Yeah.
And it doesn't help.
Yeah.
But if you verbalize it and pop it to your friend or an elder or a wise person or somebody you love, then you see, as you bring it out and make it more real, people can help you, support you, and maybe that can shift and change how you deal with the situation. So I think it's very important to have a conversation, to ask, it's very, very important. You're right.
Yeah, indeed. And just got a message that there's some ads. Well, look, it's a web stream. Sometimes these ads will pop in, but I'm sorry about this. This is first time ever we're doing this, but we'll give you the unedited version. Thank you, Joshiji, for your input on that. I've got some friends in Bangalore who are also watching this, so I hope they give us feedback on this. Sukhiji, some people have actually sent some questions which are quite relevant questions, so I think we'll kick off with that. Got a question here from Neelam. How to create balance in daily life?
I think we all know how to.
Mm-hmm.
It's a matter of doing it consistently.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that, oh, we lack balance. I mean, you walk, you do so many things. You drive, you do so many things. Life starts with the balance. I mean, if you were not in balance, it would reflect.
Mm-hmm.
What we call as stress is what is like moving away from that balance
Mm-hmm.
of state of mind.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the balance is already there, always there. It's just uh, many things. I mean, relationships, dealing with relationship creates a lot of stress.
Mm-hmm.
Dealing with, like you said, the environmental pressures, change of season, cold, cough, flu, so many things happen.
Yeah.
There are so many other things. Work pressure creates a lot of stress.
Mm-hmm.
So stress and events, things, if we're not strong from inside, can knock us out of our balance.
Mm-hmm.
We can go through emotional breakdowns. We can go through, become sensitive.
Mm-hmm.
So there are many things which can take us away from our own self. But this is what Guruji Sri Sri Ravi Shankar Ji has given us, taught us to bring us back to the balance. And I think the only thing we can do it, we learn something, we know something, and then we learn something, and we practically do something for a little long period of time.
Mm-hmm.
That helps.
Indeed. And I guess you, in your previous experiences, have shared a lot of stories about meeting Sri Sri Ravi Shankar Ji Guruji. And how did you see his balance when you were actually settling in, moving on with life and doing things? And was it all unsettled period, or were you quite settled and then you became more calmer, or did you get inspired by his settlement?
It's a very nice question you asked me. I mean, I was 22 when I met him, and I was a chartered accountant, and I was 23. I was a partner, and I had a company. It's not like, when you're young and you're successful, you're not looking for anything spiritual or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not that there is anything lacking in you.
Yeah.
Day to day, we actually don't think that, oh, maybe there's something wrong with me.
Mm-hmm.
That happens only when very low thing occurs, or someday we crash,
Mm-hmm.
mentally or physically. But you're right. I mean, and I tell you, at that time when I met Guruji, I mean, he was such a, how do you call it, like a breath of fresh air.
Mm-hmm.
Like I met him, and we were in a home with some few people, and his voice was so soothing. His demeanor was so peaceful. I mean, generally you meet people and you see people are occupied.
Mm-hmm.
Their minds are occupied with so many things.
Mm-hmm.
Hardly very rarely you find 1% people, maybe less than that,
Mm-hmm.
who, when you talk to them, they're really with you.
Mm.
And I found him so, like I said, calm, like an ocean of calmness and peace, and with such sweetness he spoke, and that was striking.
Mm-hmm.
It's like shakes you, because what we call it, you're so preoccupied with, gadgets and things and success and what you need to do, what you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
But in suddenly in Guruji's presence, it's like, there's nothing to do. There's so much, so peace. I don't have to do anything. I can just sit with him, smile with him, have a conversation with him, and forget about all my worries.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
And the other thing is, being around him, even though he's attentive to you, but he's also mindful of things around it. People are taken care of, or people are not hurt, or people are not pushed. Because I guess that being so compassionate that way, that's so amazing to see.
I mean, I can't even, begin to acknowledge what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's so calm and peaceful and so aware of everything happening around. I mean, I can give you thousands of examples. I mean, we've traveled him in groups of people, and he would take care of every person, or mind that step, or we are walking, this is wet, or, there is something on the floor, be careful, like, you would be with so many people, and when you are with him, you forget about everything. And but he remembers, and if you're going to some place, if you come to the Bangalore ashram or any of the places, he will come into your room and ask you if you're comfortable, if you have everything, like these little
and
things.
he doesn't need to do that probably at times, because things are already taken care of. But that's the role of a master, spiritual master, who's so compassionate, being in the present and being with the people. It's 10 past 7. We only got 50 minutes, and Sukhiji does have another commitment. So today we will make it really sharp and on time, so you can probably have your dinner on time, or if you had to do some homework or do some housework, you can definitely do that. I had a email come through. Just will probably get my password right here, and it actually came from Abhinav Bhardwaj. Abhinav, thank you very much for sending the question. I tend to take a short breaks between work, which becomes a holiday. How do I bring mind back to that work that I was doing from the pleasure of the break?
I guess you need to, if you love both things, I feel very lucky that Guruji has given me an opportunity to do actually what I love to do. And yes, we all do work and we all make a living and we want to make our lives secure and happy. And then, people have different spheres of work. If you start taking full 100% enjoyment in your love, whatever little you do, and if you are really into it, I've noticed that break means that I'm physically, mentally sitting in front of a screen, doing something or focused on something, concentrating, and then, body energy goes down. I need to take a break and maybe replenish myself, But if your interest is there, if your love is there for the thing that you're doing, I promise you, you will come back and you will join from where you ended.
Yeah.
Another thing which Guruji has given us is, if in the breaks you can do a little bit of breathing or a little bit of meditations and everything, it uplifts your prana. Your energy level rises. So not only you relax during the breaks better, rather than having a coffee which can bring you down. So you can do little techniques which can make your mind aware of where you ended, where you need to start, and what the goal was, so you don't forget, so you are in line with what you need to do.
Thank you for that. And Abhishek, I believe Abhinav, sorry, I believe you may have done the Art of Living Part 1 course, but I tell you, if you do the Part 2 course, which we call it the Art of Silence or the Advanced course, if you go on that holiday, when you come back to work, you will actually come and feel that you really want to work. That's what I felt, because we have so much things that we get tied down to, bogged down to. There's no full potential at work. You're thinking, I'd be better off on IBM, I'd be better off doing this. And when you do the Part 2 course and when you come back, all that gunk is removed, and then you see everything different. Say, this is how I should do it, or this is, and your focus and your energy level increases. So I think my personal advice, and I'm sure Sukhiji will agree on that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like, you've had a full day of work, whether you work in an office or sometimes you're a sports person or an athlete, you have a full session of workout or something, and then you come home and you take a nice hot and warm shower, then energy levels are up, back again, and you are again gung-ho about the rest of the evening. In the same way, our mind needs a shower. Our mind needs a clarity and awareness and break. You rightly said that if you did the silence programs or Sudarshan Kriya, the meditations and the breathing that we teach, the mind will feel more awakened and alert.
Indeed. And for those who are watching the webcast, there's Art of Living org.nz, the website, also on the Facebook page, and on our link or through this website email address, you can actually ask us questions of upcoming workshop, because end of the month, 24th of September, we have the happiness course. It's a 4-day program, so you can come and attend it, find it, just over 3 or 4 hours in the evenings, in the weekends, just about 16 hours could change your life, and you'll feel the bliss, and you'll feel amazed,
And I like you rightly said, you'll feel the bliss again. That is very important, because I think a lot of people, we have done the course sometimes and we do breathing and all, and sometimes we get swayed away by the routine, and then after a while, I've not been doing my kriya, I don't feel the same level of energy, maybe I need to get back to my rhythm and to my discipline and everything. So people who are watching this, I think this is a good time to remind yourself, not just you, your family, your extended families, friends. There are many people who need this knowledge, who need this techniques, who need a way of life. Basically, this is a way of life, and it's a wonderful way of life which grounds you at the same level, gives you an expanded idea of life, at the same time. So it really gives you happiness from within.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's like no matter you can do something once, but then if you repeat it and then repeat it and do it with your larger family and everything, it gets strengthened.
Mm-hmm.
Something in you gets strengthened. Like, I mean, you could be good dancer. You don't do dance in one way, in one day or 4 hours, and you said, I'm an expert in dancing or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It takes time for that knowledge, for thing to settle in. So renewing yourself and revisiting the whole thing, it's also fantastic.
Indeed. And, saying about asking questions, you may ask, I can ask him thousands of questions, and this webcast will be extended 24 hours non-stop. We could have a webathon or something like that. Sponsor some money and donate some money, and we'll raise some money. Coming back to a question, last night I was watching something on Elvis Presley, and it's disturbing to see that some celebrities who have such a great potential have had a tragic death. And today, a lot of the celebrities are now becoming aware of what they're eating, what they're doing. So they're getting into healthy living, healthy eating, and doing some yoga, meditation, etc. Because they now know that the essence of this is there to be taken advantage of.
Absolutely. See, it's like I said, it's a way of life. It's a holistic life.
Mm-hmm.
And you see, whether you are a person, whether you're a housewife, or whether you are a student, or whether you are a businessman, especially like you mentioned, all the celebrities, it's a tough life. You're always in the public scrutiny, public glare. You're doing so many charities, moving around so much, on shows and programs.
Not eating properly, not
Yeah,
sleeping
you
properly,
have no. Yeah, exactly.
eating junk food,
Exactly.
whatever.
So
stays.
there's no discipline of sleep, food. No, there's no time for many of those things. So if you inculcate some values, if you inculcate some discipline, I think art of living fits in very nicely. It doesn't take much time. You learn about food, you learn about how to sleep better, you learn about how to uplift and raise your energies. So I think, like you rightly said, it is fantastic.
And people were doing that because now going back to Abhinav's question, when you go on holiday, but if we think back the holiday or the break that we had, whether going back to back in India when there was Diwali break, we used to go back home. If you go back to villages or your family, then everything was given to you. You are happy because you're around with there was certain amount of indiscipline about how much you ate or how much you slept, but actually it brought you a lot of peace. So I think you're right that bringing that discipline and balance will definitely help individuals. A lot of youngsters are quite confused and quite concerned, and I mean, of course, relationships take toll and they get really either hurt because they dive deep. And the more deeper you dive, the deeper the hurt is. What's an advice to these youngsters who are listening and watching?
I mean, just don't get bogged down by your dips and lows in life. Everybody. I mean, when I remember, going to a small class of students. I remember growing up even, you meet two kids, 7, 8 years old, and they fight. And, oh, I don't want to talk to you, or I don't like you, whatever. And you come back home, you feel you're not talking to your friend as if your whole life is gone suddenly. But then in a few days or next day, you're relaxed, you slept or whatever, you went back and you said sorry and made up and everything. And the life force energy comes back, the love comes back, everything comes back. So I guess life is full of ups and downs. Life is not a straight intellectual line of like going a bar chart going up like that. Life is like, if the energy is like up and down, like wave action, life is also up and down. So you need to learn how to become deeper yourself, learn deeper things when the wave is down in downward trend. Put yourself into that space of mind, and of course ride the wave. When you're high, enjoy it, buddy. Enjoy. And don't get bogged down by many of the events and relationship and everything. There's nothing wrong with fighting. There's nothing wrong with having relationships. Stress is inevitable. The issue is not that we will have stress or we want to avoid stress, we want to eliminate stress. No, stress will keep coming. It's you need to learn how to deal with it. And that's what we teach,
Exactly. There's lots of questions that have come through via email. Some people want to remain anonymous. That's fine. We won't reveal your names. Daily demands of life create so much stress. What really is stress? How to overcome this? I think we've touched on it already.
One way Guruji also said very interestingly is the mind, which is not in the present moment. how the mind vacillates. It's all thinking, so many thoughts are bombarded on the mind. The mind is either thinking about the past and glorifying about what life used to be, how life was great and how it is miserable now.
Yeah.
Or it could be the other way around too. And people are also very worried about future. Oh my god, what will happen? What will happen in the future? Oh, I'm secure or not secure, how life would be. So this vacillation of the mind, that causes a lot of stress. So there is no point in time where our mind is free from this stress, or what I call them brain impulses.
Yeah.
An energy, it's just an energy impulse. So what I experience being with Guruji, with Art of Living, is like when you do Sudarshan Kriya, when you do meditations and all, your the thoughts come down so much. Like an average 120,000 thoughts per day. I mean, it comes down to 600-700. Imagine the amount of energy released or energy saved in that. So you become the master of your own mind. You start observing your mind. You start having a little say in your activities.
Yeah.
Rather than reactive,
Exactly.
you become responsive.
Yes, and I will urge our fans who are listening, like the radio, sometimes things are quiet, but I guess they silent listeners in some way along the line. When we have knowledge sessions with you, a lot of people hold up questions and then they
Question.
come quietly
Yeah.
and say, "Da, da, da, da." But then you think, I've already answered that.
Yeah.
Guruji's already answered that. And it's something that you probably have an answer, but I guess people do want a clarification. Another one that is just related to what we were talking about is I guess this is from Jitesh. I think he's saying his name is if it's written right. He said, "You always say that joy is in the present moment, but there are some events of the past that hold me back, being totally in the present moment, despite wanting to. Many times I am not able to totally be in present moment. What shall I do?"
Do Kriya, do Sudarshan Kriya, do meditation. See, joy is not the joy is in the present moment. The mind needs to experience the present moment. It needs to come to the present moment. And once it comes to the present moment, that stillness, you will not experience these negative emotions. What is in the past, is that the memory. And it's very true, I mean, ask anybody who's gone through a traumatic experience. We have courses designed specially for post-traumatic stress syndrome, whether it is war veterans or prisoners or whatever, or people of earthquake victim or tsunami victim. This is exactly what it is. You think about some event in the past and you get so stressed. I mean, there's no need to carry it longer or linger with it. You need to know, okay, there is a practical technique and a practical space available within Art of Living where you can learn something and relieve your memories, take away your mind from those traumatic spaces and bring it back to the present. And in this emptiness of present moment, you can color it with whatever, joy, happiness, creativity, anything that you want to.
A lot of people who have been shy and would like to meet you and discuss with you, but I guess the other thing is you are easily adaptable. You've been in New Zealand, you like traveling New Zealand, you've done Christchurch, Wellington and other cities as well. So if people would like to invite you, you'd be happy to give a free lecture or free guidance sessions to them?
Absolutely. I mean, I love meeting people, and I mean, Guruji has given us this wonderful knowledge, and I believe that through this as a medium, a tool of change, we can bring smiles to many. We can offer this wonderful thing to many, and it really practically makes a big difference in your life. So I'm always looking forward to sharing what I've got. I mean, it's like, don't we all do that? We go and go to a restaurant and we like lovely food and said, "Hey man, go to this nice restaurant and have food." Or, "Oh, this is a nice movie we watched. It's fantastic. I must share it with my friends and family."
Yeah.
In the same way, I learned something so wonderful from Guruji. I mean, I want everybody to enjoy it, and I think whether it is, don't mind about the platform that you offer me. You want to call me to a school or restaurant or I don't know, hospital to talk to nurses, doctors, school teachers, satsangs, any platform you want. I would love to come and share meditations and these techniques and knowledge of the art of living.
Very nice. Thank you for that. And if you'd like to invite Sukhiji, please be in touch via my mobile. I'll put you in touch with other centers that are around New Zealand. Or volunteers and teachers are willing to organize this for you. And just another anonymous person has randomly texted the other night. You touched on fulfilling desires and how it brings fear. Should we want to fulfill our desires?
Come again.
The other night you touched on fulfilling desires.
Fulfilling desire.
Fulfilling desires, right?
Uh-huh.
How it brings fear.
Mm-hmm.
Should we want to fulfill our desires?
It's up to you. You need to know. I mean, you're hungry and you want to eat. That's all right. But then, how much? I mean, we end up overeating. So the point is, desires are always there. They are like expectations sitting at the back of our mind. For example, if I want to get out of your house, go down, my expectation is that there's my chappals or my shoes somewhere. I have to wear them. So it's expectations will always be there. It's just you need to become aware of it. So if you're aware that I have the desire and I'm taking action for the fulfillment of it, or nothing wrong with it. But at the same time, we need to have that understanding or awareness that, well, a lot of the actions and efforts we make might be successful. A lot of them will not be successful. Certain things will give benefits right away, and certain things will be fulfilled in the coming days or the coming years. Our stress is that we like everything like instant coffee. Now press a button and coffee should come out. Action taken and desire fulfilled right away. So if the mind gets stuck in the fulfillment of desires, it's like a vicious cycle. It goes round and round and round, and you are so occupied with that you miss out on people, you miss out on conversation, you missed out on nice meditation, that beach, that wonderful company. We miss out because our mind is preoccupied, and that is what stress is all about. The mind is preoccupied. Nothing wrong with fulfillment of desire, nothing wrong, but do not be afraid of failure or desires not being fulfilled, or insecure that what will happen if that what you have, you will lose it. So that's what Guruji has given this knowledge all about. I mean, fulfilled desires can bring fear. You gain something, you have something in life, but now you don't want to lose it. So if you're aware of the fact that I am the one, because of my effort and the blessings or grace, that I was able to achieve this, I can achieve it again. What's wrong in having something and losing it again? It doesn't matter. You can again gain it in future. So basically, to not be afraid. And Guruji says very nicely, a pinch of salt in a soup is good. A pinch of fear in life is good, but if it's too much, and how can you won't be happy. So nothing wrong with desire, but just become aware of them.
Everything in life relates to different people, because I guess Ayurveda that we have is also very ancient tradition that gives benefits, spirituality, the basis of that. But some person may be eating a lot of piratas or ice cream, he might be okay, but whether other person can't handle. So people need to also be mindful of that they everybody's on a different path or at a different level of moving forward or taking things in. So they have to come to somebody like you and say, somebody might guide you. An Ayurvedic doctor will say, okay, you need to, your prakriti is like this. You see what I'm saying? So you have to come and see him. You just can't get all the answers just like that.
Hemant is putting me in trouble.
Dr. Sukhiji.
About eating parathas, not to eat parathas, what to eat, what not to eat.
Hey, but people say, why does he or she, people always say, that person is doing such a bad thing. He's a crook, and he's so lucky. He's got great cars, but I'm doing such a nice work, and I don't get this. Why is this all happening to me?
See, your life is about only you, and that is what stress is. That you start comparing what I get, what I want from other people. I mean, if you start comparing, I have a small house and the neighbor has a big house, you will get stressed. So life begins with you, and it also ends in you, with you. So I think one needs to focus into one's own life and one's own mind, that what is a healthy way of life? What works for me? You can go to an Ayurvedic doctor and he can tell you, this is the nature of your body. But then there is a nature quality of the mind also. Your body could be something, but your mind could be stressed. Like people who are, I mean, this is very normal and natural to know that if you're stressed, a lot of people have experienced that they tend to eat more. They don't realize that they're eating because they're stressed. Some people could do something else. Some people could start smoking a lot. Some people could do some other things because they're stressed. Some people's hand shake, leg shake. So different people's reaction to different things is very, very varied, So one need to just focus on themselves, that I want to live a healthy, holistic life, and food plays a big role in it.
Exactly.
Now, if that person is eating clarified butter, ghee, whatever, paratha, I mean, that's his body, he can handle it, doesn't matter. What works for me? That's very important. I think we have to be very careful when we start looking at the world. In the world there are 7 billion people and 7 billion ideas of doing same thing. Some people says it happens, no, even in we get small cough, cold and flu. Are baba, have some ginger tea. Some say no, add some honey also. Then somebody will say no, this manuka will help. No, in New Zealand we say, right? Different places you go, people have different
Chinese medicine will
work.
Have that black tea and then you'll be cured within. I've got cured in 2 days. Well, my body type and your body type or other people.
Or just fast. Don't have anything.
Yeah.
So I think many things could work with you and many things need not work with you. You need to focus on really onto yourself. What works for you? How my mind comes to a state of happiness and joy, expanded yet still. How my body becomes a chariot of joy, rather than a sluggish, I have to drag my body, it's not happy, legs are not working, this stomach is not working, head is aching. That's not fun.
No, exactly. And I guess the whole idea of doing this is to bring you that little bit of insight how it can be changed. It has changed a lot of people's lives, and the Art of Living Foundation is very, very active around the world, helping so many people coming out of depression, anxiety, and so much even health problems. People have benefited, including myself. I can go on and another program, another webcast, because we only got about 28 minutes. There's some other questions which I'll quickly go through. Nikki had sent a message: many times while doing seva, the sense of doership starts arising within me. Should I lose the merit of doing seva if I feel this? Would I lose the merit of seva if I feel this way?
Not at all. Not at all. I mean, just because you're eating salads and you can see somebody eating burger, you will not lose the merit if you have a desire to eat that. I mean, no, nothing like that.
Yeah.
It's a funny analogy that I took, but I mean, no, just from a simple, innocent, pure heart, just do what you need to do.
But service, is it essential for people? Because I guess we sometimes underestimate probably ourselves that we can do so much and we have so much capacity, but by doing it, we just see that by doing a little bit of service, seva, we actually expand.
You very right. I mean, it is something that we do without expecting anything in return. That's called service or seva. And a lot of my experience traveling in a lot of countries and varied culture from Latin America to Africa to Europe, everywhere, I've noticed that when you bring people together and go out and start serving those who need, suddenly our mind, which might be unhappy, which might be in a very, different state, slowly start expanding, because you're focused not on my problem, I'm not happy, this, that. Then you're just there, okay, how can I support you? What can I do for you? Suddenly the flow of energy is on making somebody's life comfortable and happy and just being there as a support to somebody else. And I think that shift is a really wonderful shift, and it expands your heart energy, your mind, relaxes. And if you do group service, a group seva, I think that's fantastic, and it really helps you, really helps you.
And service in any way will definitely give benefits. So just as you said, by helping somebody, lifting somebody's, lifting them out of their misery is also a service. So just being there for people is a great service. Because I remember when the Christchurch earthquake happened, and the talkbacks also said that people were wanting to talk to people because they were at home, not being able to talk to people. They were, so just giving that a phone call and say, hey, how are you doing?
Absolutely. You don't need to do much. I mean, and sometimes actually your physical presence is enough. You don't need to even utter a word. You just sit with them, go for a walk, and you see people who are traumatized or people who need to speak. They come out and they empty themselves. So there are many ways. You can serve. You could do cleaning of the society. Go clean beaches, do something together, do some creative thing together. There could be street kids out there who could be violent and everything. Engage them in creative games or something, and painting or something. That can also be a service. So, each one of us also have some unique creative talent with us. If we take that creative talent and offer it to the public, whether, like I said, it's children or whether it is older generation or people who need it, I tell you, it's a great service.
Fantastic. And service it is that Art of Living has been doing in many countries, and we always have seen it that when there is a natural disaster, a lot of the organizations, once they finish the work within a couple of weeks, they go. But when they go, Art of Living actually comes in and rebuilds it and helps rebuilding the individuals. If you'd like to know more about the Art of Living organization, you can go to artofliving.org, and you'll see a lot of activities and a lot of details out there. Social media is playing a really important role. So like this webcast, there's a lot of videos, etc. But I guess it's like we can always describe how good an ice cream is, right? We all love ice cream, and we're gonna have maybe blueberries ice cream. But how do I describe blueberries ice cream? I can't, right?
No way.
Have you had blueberries ice cream?
Yes, I have.
How does it taste?
Oh, it's amazing.
It's amazing. So like that, how Sukhiji is saying, and Sukhiji is very very friendly and helpful when it comes to being with you, to guide you, his techniques, and he's traveled around the world. One of the questions that I want to take, but before that, I just really want to ask you that, people think that, okay, so what, you are a senior teacher, you're here, but what not, you've been getting all the luxuries, but you've seen the hardship too. You've been into some countries where, there's been heat, there's been heat on your head.
Yeah.
And with the body was melting, but the heart could have melted too. And so you have been through the hardship as well.
It's true. I think we all go through ups and downs in lives. And I remember when I was in Africa, I was traveling in Malawi, South Africa, working. We have many projects going on in South Africa, in Soweto, and at that time in Durban, in Quarterbaker, in Namibia that we started. In Komostal and Katutura, we were really helping the people with many of their social issues and everything. And I think these are places, whether I was in Malawi or Ivory Coast, where there's still a lot of militia and things can happen. One day you're happy, one day you could be kidnapped. One day you find food and sleep in some person's house. Another day, well, you don't have much to.
Did you have to escape?
Escape
at random time and say, pack your bags and grab what you can and let's go.
Yeah. Anything can happen anytime there. I remember teaching courses in Katutura, Komasdal, late night, and people would look at me and say, they would be shocked that wearing what I wear and how I look. People said, if they know that you are not from here and you could be kidnapped very easily. But I said, Jai Gurudev, doesn't matter. My Guru's blessings are there with me. I'm just here. I've come here because my master has asked me to, come and be there and make a difference in these people's life. And we are just doing a humanitarian work. And when you believe in that, I tell you, the nature supports you. I would come back 9:30, 10 in the night, pick up a taxi from a very remote area and drive back home. And look, I'm traveled in Central America, been to Mexico, been to Colombia, Bogota, many different places. And yes, you have good experiences and bad experiences. And I tell you, the bad experiences teaches you a lot. They make you stronger and much more stronger person.
Indeed. Now, if you'd like to ask a question, the 0508 78635 was the numbers. You can call on that, and the other number is 0216299359. So you can ask the question to us. I know, okay, we've got the 0508 ready to be answering calls. James had sent a message earlier, and he said that what is success and how can we be truly successful?
Oh, I can have a very simple answer. I mean, anything that you do or not do, I don't think so. One should measure success on the basis of what you achieve or what you don't achieve.
Mm-hmm.
Because people have built empires and now those empires are nowhere to be seen.
Mm-hmm.
So I think success is, I would like to measure success on the basis of how much you're happy this moment
Mm-hmm.
and how much a smile, comes back to your life very fast.
Mm-hmm.
Because success in this material world is, it's all about hard work, dedication, focus, concentration, and your ability to really back up your skills and abilities, and and the desire or a passion in you to do things.
Mm-hmm.
But mostly people within this world doing what they want to do, they end up being so stressed.
Mm-hmm.
You can become a successful entrepreneur,
Mm-hmm.
but I've taught people who are successful, they live one of the most stressful life.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't consider that success.
Mm-hmm.
So there can be material success, there can be spiritual success, there
Mhm.
can be physically people are not balanced or happy. So many different levels of success. So I think if you lead a healthy, wholesome, holistic life, mind, body, emotion, feeling are balanced and steady, doesn't matter what you do in world, what profession you do or what you have. I think you feel good here and here.
Mm-hmm.
I think that is the most important thing.
So the connection of this is quite near in a way,
Mm-hmm.
but we so far from each other.
Mm-hmm.
So the head's somewhere else and the heart is somewhere else. So bringing that gap or bringing it closer, I guess we need to drop the phone and maybe keep on going like this. People generally ask, and there has been another question, what is spirituality? And somebody did ask me that can they have spirituality at work or like something of that at work?
Absolutely. See, for me, spirituality is not like a something out there.
Yeah.
Spirituality is the spirit in you.
Mm-hmm.
The joy, the spirit, the enthusiasm is that which makes you, that what you are inside.
Yeah.
Like I was a chartered accountant. I had a company and we were 40 people working under me. And I tell you, we used to, like in a boardroom, we would eat together. Everybody eating together in India is unheard of, unseen. And share our food. We used to take interest in everybody's life. I remember there was a guy who was not very well educated, and he came and he ended up, we encouraged him to finish his graduation, and then he learned very fast these taxation packages, and he could operate computers like anything, no better than us.
Yeah.
And so I would say, when you have spirituality in you, spirit in you, then you take joy in other people's joy also. Then you help and support everybody around you to live a better life. And I think especially in the office, I know our offices and companies are very competitive, and it's all about making profits and organizational goals and everything. But it's together, right?
Yeah.
You can't achieve organizational goals like one CEO who cannot do it. He needs the whole team to come together. So if the team is not happy, how will you achieve? So the most important thing here is that you are together as one unit, focused, and if inspired and passionate team will be able to achieve stuff. So the spirit in everybody, their individual needs, their individual goals, their state of mind is very important. So I think people forget that. It's like, if I compare us to like a flower rose, if there is rose and wherever you take the flower, you will bring the fragrance there. So if the spirit in you is blossomed, that goodness, that enthusiasm, that joy, that gratefulness, all those values, you will bring it to your office. You'll bring it to your team. People will be get People will get touched by it. That's why, I mean, I find art of living very universal, very well accepted. Like we teach in World Bank, we teach in big corporations, in banking corporations, in so many different government offices. So we are in United Nations. We partner in different caucuses. So I think local government, we teach to people who are in prisons. So it's very, very important to know that you can bring that spirituality which is within you to wherever you go and whomsoever you touch. One must not restrict themselves. Oh, I am this and I have this idea that this is what I can do. No, you are limitless. You can do limitless thing. So that comes when you're connected to your own spirit.
Indeed. And there is a question from Faiza. What is better, doing one's daily spiritual practices or doing some sort of remembrance to God, or just observing thoughts as they come and go?
Whatever works. Most important thing is what I learned from my culture, then I grew up and learned from Guruji, is to really observe your breath. Your breath is the key to the mind. The mind experiences stress, and mind is like a kite. If some small wind or big wind blows, the kite starts shaking very fast, or it loses. If there is no wind, it loses its momentum.
Direction,
yeah. So if the string is wonderful, if the string is strong, and the person, with the string, you can fly the kite. You can steady it and hold it. So the breath is like the string, and the mind is like the kite. So Guruji gave such beautiful, like I said, techniques and meditations, and so I think at one level, whatever works for you, please do it. If you want to learn something from us, which has worked for us, you're most welcome to.
And also upcoming yoga and meditation sessions. So I guess a little bit of this goes hand in hand. After yoga, you could do a little bit of meditation. But we have some workshops that are coming up, which will also tell our viewers through our links and through our Facebook page, etc. So people can come and attend and just get a glimpse of it, get a taste of it, how easy it is and how beneficial it is.
It is very, very important. I mean, we have a center in Auckland, and I think we are offering now even to older generation, 65 plus or whatever, 60 plus. We want to offer free yoga. We are already offering, on Saturdays, and people can even join on the Tuesdays. There are timings when one can confirm from our website and all. But it's important that people come and experience some form of yoga and meditation and breathing, so see how they feel within their body and how their mind shifts. And it's very nice, when you are, when you feel one day that I'm stuck in something, or sometimes you feel, oh, life is not moving, and then you do little 20 minutes, half an hour, 40 minutes of yoga, and you feel so refreshed, and then you start seeing the same problem as not a problem. You start seeing, oh, my mind has moved, I feel,
so what?
So
what?
Exactly.
So the other thing is that we can go on talking about the good things that we've seen, and everybody has a different way of looking at it. But I tell you that Sukhiji's approach to it is so unique that you'll find that he will guide you and he'll help you on the right path. And do come along to his upcoming sessions. We will advertise knowledge session, whether it could be Ashtavakra Gita, Bhagavad Gita, or sessions like that, because people keep referring to these Vedic knowledges that we have, and I guess any form of modernization to this still has its roots back in there. So the essence is always there.
I guess, and also it's important, like see what Guruji gave us, with the Ashtavakra Gita, and the Bhagavad Gita and all. It's not just a new, I wouldn't call it even a new way of bringing the old knowledge. I would say he's connecting us back to our roots and traditions.
No, but some people are actually, who are taking the modern approach, even the essence in there is Vedic knowledge.
Very, very, absolutely. Even I know many of the programs being offered also have that, and it's really wonderful, and this is one thing I would say, that it's a matter of us coming together, and it creates a nice atmosphere. We can talk to somebody. Sometimes you read something and then maybe the experience is not there, or maybe the clarity is not there.
Mm-hmm.
So you get a live audience, you get live people sitting with you. That energy itself, what we call as satsang, the good company, it is uplifting.
Mm-hmm.
And perhaps sometimes it's nicer to have that engagement in a live place, and it's reminding.
Mm-hmm.
We forget a lot of things. I think a lot of these things, it's there within us.
Mm-hmm.
Most of these things, I would say, is there within us. It's just like it just gets refreshed.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really wonderful. And you get to meet so many people on the same path.
Exactly. And when you go there, sometimes the thing just hits you. Your question that you had in mind automatically gets answered. I've actually noticed that on the spiritual path that it just happens.
Huh?
A question or something that you had a doubt of, you may not even ask. Like you probably be watching this and saying, "Oh, they already covered that."
Yeah.
So,
Same thing happened. Like if like you were asking, if you were shy sitting here, maybe somebody else asked,
Yeah.
and your question was answered.
Exactly.
So I think, it's like a group of friends sitting and contemplating and chatting and just feeling high energy and nice. It's all about that.
Indeed. And the questions that have come through, I want to surrender my ego, but I fear that in doing so, I'll lose my self-respect. Please guide me.
Well, how do I say? I want to surrender my ego.
Mm-hmm.
So first of all, surrender is a happening.
Mm-hmm.
And ego is something. It's the sixth level of your existence. You can't, neither you can cut it nor destroy it or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You can just be aware of it,
Mm-hmm.
and it can come in very subtle forms.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think so. You need to do much about ego.
Mm-hmm.
You just need to become aware of your own self.
Mm-hmm.
I can give you an example. I used to say a lot of time have you seen Hemant, these dewdrops?
Yes.
You go in the morning, you see dewdrops.
Yeah.
So when the dewdrops are there in the morning, then slowly the sun starts shining and the dewdrops evaporate.
Mm-hmm.
The same way, when the dewdrops like ego, subtle and small, when the self starts shining, the dewdrop melts.
Mm-hmm.
The ego melts. It's there in some form,
Mm-hmm.
but the sun and the self is so strong and shining
Mm-hmm.
that stops bothering you. You stop acting through ego. You become humble and simple, and so I think the surrender part, just let it be.
Mm-hmm.
Surrender is not an act of
Mm-hmm.
doing something.
No.
Surrender happens when you are in a very deep state of love and gratefulness and gratitude and all. It just happens. So a deliberate action can never be surrender.
Mm-hmm.
And what I learned from Guruji also was, it's courageous. Only courageous people can surrender. We people cannot do, because it takes courage to acknowledge the fact that there is a higher power running my life, rather than I want to be in control. I live my life the way I want to live it. No, you just live and make the most of it, and relax and be grateful for what we receive.
Mm-hmm. And speaking of which, that our capacity we sometimes underestimate, and maybe people think that okay, you do yoga and meditation, your capacity is bigger, but they can also increase that. But you've seen it that Guruji Shri Ravi Shankar actually works quite a lot of hours, probably not 12 hours, but probably more than that, and even traveling and
36 hours.
yeah. So he's doing that because of the society. He wants people to be happy and people to be calm and peaceful and helpful. So I guess we can hear a lot of guru stories from you in coming time. The time will surpass us. It will be only about 6 minutes of this webcast, but I guess viewers, if you have been quiet and if you've got a little bit of inspiration or a little bit of hint to help about the questions that you had, because a lot of questions that you had already answered, that's why I didn't ask. The mind wanders in so many directions. How can you control it? But you already talked about the kite. And
Can I
yeah,
can I offer you something?
yeah.
There's lately there's a lot of cold, cough, and flu is happening.
Yeah.
Maybe I can offer a simple recipe,
Yeah.
so for people to benefit from if they drink.
Yeah.
How about it?
Mm-hmm.
So I think everybody, if you're listening, please, in 1.5 cup of water, you boil one nice square cube of ginger. You add one nice stick of cinnamon,
Mm-hmm.
and 5 to 6 cloves.
Mm-hmm.
and 10 to 15 black pepper, whole black pepper.
Mhm.
Yeah, and you boil it,
Mhm.
and it will become like a black tea.
Mhm.
You strain it, and nice boiled black tea. Strain it, take it out. When it's little cooler, not a lot cooler, you can add half a lemon and some honey,
Mhm.
and you can drink this. It will boost your immune system, and it will give you help from this cold and cough and flu which has been going on.
Mhm.
And I think in India we call them dadi ma ke nuske.
Yeah.
From grandmothers, grandfathers, this has been passed on to us. So
Mhm.
it's a very wonderful recipe. Please try that.
And I guess even the spirituality spiritual aspects to the modern society, whether we go to temples or go to our grandparents for advice, they've had that wisdom because they have lived it. That spiritual upbringing was given to them. Recently, you talked about this lot of confusion. Why do we do such a things? Whether putting a bindi on the head or doing this, some rituals people have misunderstood it or misinterpreted, and I think if you look at the essence of it, if you find the roots of it, there is a reason for it, and that will definitely help. So, like even this Ayurvedic remedy you just described, it will help, and you don't need to take antibiotics.
It's a nice reminder, Heyman. Maybe we should start sections of it where we can say a health section for 5 minutes,
Mhm.
or maybe a understanding the ritualistic section for 5 minutes. It will be interesting for people to ask and know about. There were a lot of practical things we used to do in our ancient traditions, many different ancient traditions. But now they have become part of, seemingly it looks religious, but it is not.
Mhm.
And there's a lot of benefit in doing certain things.
Well, even in New Zealand, the Maori culture and the tradition,
Yeah.
there is so much spiritual value to
Yeah.
it. There is so much respect to it, even by welcoming people in particular way. To say we respect the people of this land and we're doing something in this land because this land belongs to them. So I think people have not valued that. Or you just, even in the hotel, if you go, you do check where the rooms is all okay, and then we settle in. Here we've come in and we need to respect this country as well. And I'm so grateful, thankful, because we've never done anything like this in a dash that we've had a 60 minutes of non-stop conversation.
Brilliant.
I'm sorry if the commercials have come through on the video. That's just something that the web does. But apart from that, anytime, any questions that you have, Sukhiji is willing to help you, guide you. And we just always believe that, by his experience, by him being with Sri Sri Ravi Shankarji, Guruji Sri Sri Ravi Shankarji's teaching has allowed him to give so much, and he will, be here in coming time. Oh, before we finish, the great celebration next year, the 35 years of Art of Living, that's a huge event because, back in 2006 when I went to the Silver Jubilee, that was huge. But 35 years of Art of Living and 60 years of Sri Sri Ravi Shankarji's double celebration in Delhi, that's going to be a big one in India next year.
Big thing, and Guruji said, "Na bhuto na bhavishyati." So it's going to be almost 3.5 million people gathering in Delhi from 152 countries. I tell you, just that side of people with seva minded, with goodness in heart, for peace and getting together, that will create a shift in a lot of people, with the physical level and the subtle both. So I think we should be part of something good.
Yes, and if you would like to come along to that, you can definitely be in touch with us. And the other thing is that do not miss this opportunity. Sukhiji will be there also. So from 24th of September to 27th, so Thursday, Friday, evening sessions, and Saturday, Sunday, morning to mid afternoon sessions. You can do the happiness course and be part of this bliss that you will feel doing the Sudarshan Kriya, and a lot of spiritual techniques that will be given to you. We can't teach anything, right? We don't teach anything.
We just smile and you come there and you learn.
You'll see. And then if you want to be part of any yoga or meditation activities that we do, we can definitely put you in touch with that. And Sukhiji is available. You can ask questions. Next week, the webcast will be in Hindi. And we may continue this journey if you like it, if you keep on asking a lot of questions. Thank you for people who've SMSed, and apologies from mine if I've said something wrong in a particular way. But thank you for your presence and your guidance for our wonderful listeners here.
Thank you for listening. Thank you, Heyman.
Thank you. Till we meet Jai Gurudev. Bye bye. Thought on time 7:59. We started at now it's 8 o'clock. Okay, we'll just have to end the session here. Sorry, when you're having fun, we have to say goodbye.